I just listened to Times Like These. I mean, I listened to a lot of the songs, but that one in particular, that is a beauty.
Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Uh, well,
that
this
is
is
a
this
beauty.
room that I'm in right now. I'm going to segue for you just to promote my own stuff here. But I just made a record. I recorded that song. I re-recorded that song. So I presume it's the one you're talking about is the
I heard
version.
the re-record. I heard the
Yeah.
re-record. Yeah.
So when the pandemic hit, I decided to try and turn it into something. So I called another one of my neighbors, Will Kimbrough, and asked him, how do you record yourself at home? And he gave me the simple version. And so I set up here in this very room and made a record, and then sent it over to Daryl, and he did the rest. So most everything on that record, with the exception of one or two, was done here in this room, which was fun for me, and learn a new skill and make some music during this weird time.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, that is amazing. Did you? I'm sure the experience much different, right, from a studio. So, what pros and cons would you say? Top three, maybe, of each, like of recording at home in that room.
Yeah, the cons are that I had no idea what I'm doing. Uh, it was it's and it was so there's definitely times where I would have given my foot for an engineer who could like simplify the process and help me kind of get a certain sound. But that was really about it. And there's something about in a typical recording situation, the energy in the room of the players that you're with. But for this record, there were a lot of pros that I think outweighed it. I, I just kind of treated it like I was what it was. It was just me late at night after everybody gone to bed, just playing around, mostly with songs that I had done in the past. I've been gigging for almost 20 years now, and some of these songs I had played inside and out 1,000 different times, and they take on a new meaning and a new life, and uh, it was able to sort of, for me, capture that in the purest sense of what I do, which is I sit around with a guitar and try and figure out what moves me. And there wasn't the pressure of the clock and you're paying people and you got to get that take and all that stuff. It was just I could do it as long or as short as I wanted until I got the sound I was going for. And there was so I just think it has a very intimate feel on the
Yeah.
record. It may not have the bells and whistles. I'm not going to win any recording Grammys for technical stuff, but I liked the end result. It felt very comfortable, and then I was able to pass it to and my dog like hung out with me one night, and she shows up on the track because she decides to shake her collar and rattle her tags. And it just is what it is. So in the middle of a guitar solo, oh, that's a dog, which is not on a typical record, but I embraced that and
I
had
love
fun with
that.
it. And then I took that stuff and sent it to Daryl Scott, and he put all his magic on it. My wife lives here with me most of the time when I'm not in trouble. And so she came out and sang with me, and I'm this is a back house. We call it the dog house because it's where I'm relegated to. And so she came out and sang with me, and then I got Ray Wiley Hubbard to fly in his vocal parts on a track.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he was down in Wimberley and Austin,
Yeah.
and we had a song that we wrote together called "Drunken Poet's Dream," and we had both recorded it on our records, and so we finally got to do it together. So things like that were just really cool. Just using new muscles, learning some things, but the overall result, I just was really happy with. It just felt very relaxed and intimate, and was able to put a new take on these songs.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that, I know you said before, like, you could let yourself go on each take, right? Well, I get this, let's roll it again, right? There's no time pressure. But I have heard musicians state before that sometimes that pressure in the studio can be a benefit too, sometimes. So do you feel like maybe, but again, it takes away from the intimacy too, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's absolutely some benefit in almost all areas of a creative process, or probably in life in general, to having limitations and to having boundaries that keep you going a certain way. And in the studio, that can be budget and time, unless you're Fleetwood Mac in the 70s or something. You got to get in and get out.
Yeah.
And because we weren't able to get together, the part of what makes that run smoothly is if you can do a pre-production, so that you know what you're doing and you have a plan when you go in. But Daryl and I weren't able to get together. And also I just, part of this was the relaxed nature of it, and the mistakes, and the just being able to play it until it felt right, and not being rushed. And, it didn't matter if I came out Monday night or Friday night or 2 weeks later. I had time on my hands. We were all off the road and we was sitting here. And so I don't know. I think that was one of the things that helped me make it a more interesting record. And there's times where those limitations that people have can force you to make decisions and really hone in and dial it in, and that can be a benefit. But for this, I didn't need that. I knew what I wanted to do. Basically, like I said, I've been playing these songs for a long time. And I think I knew how I wanted to approach them, and it was just fun to be able to sit back here and try out different approaches, and when I landed on the one that I liked,
kept it. Yeah, absolutely. No, I can totally understand that. I mean, if I were to ever make a record, I wouldn't, but if that were to ever happen, that's how I would want to do something. It sounds to me like I'm a chef. I don't have a place anymore. I closed it last year, but that's still something that's in me, right? It's never going to go away. It sounds like just cooking without a recipe. And I love cooking like that, just by feel and just going with it. And that's actually my favorite way to cook. So it sounds a lot like that. And that sounds organic, right? And the mistakes are just genuine. It adds a lot of, I just love that about music, when it's genuine and there's a sincerity to it, right? A humility to it. It's endearing. That I'll gravitate to that more than bells and whistles in a lot of ways. Yeah,
that makes total sense. It's the mistakes are honest, and they're just part of the deal. And there's not something to live up to. It's more an exploration. And with me, it was just me and my guitar, so there weren't those bells and whistles. Whatever there was added later, and it was just to follow your analogy. It's just me throwing ingredients together that I thought sounded good, or I knew I'd tried before, and
love
I was
that.
happy that it turned out.